Well, this conference was planned in this way, I think, to really engage us, to have us think about what policing really should look like relative to the whole 21st century kind of a policing initiative and the themes that have been going on really across the nation. We have some, I think, cutting-edge instructors here, people that are really kind of driving the very tip of the spear around what the future is going to be for law enforcement in Minnesota and across the nation.
My vision for policing in the 21st century is more transparency, more community involvement. The St. Paul Police Department, where I work, actually it's in our history, it's in our lifeblood. We do community policing every day. We have officers engaged with the community every day. I think that is important for everyone going forward. I think we need to ensure that we are hearing what the community has to say, actually listening and recognizing, because we really are servants of them, and what they want us to enforce is what we should be enforcing. I also think that the 21st century pillars that came out of the President's task force are very important, and one of the most important is the wellness program for our officers, because we have to really think about the fact that not only do we have to keep our citizens safe, we have to keep our officers safe and secure. We have to help them with their wellness and make sure that they are going out there every day with a head that is ready for work.
There's a lot to be said for the police as guardians versus lawyers, and I've been stressing that for several years to my staff.
To me, the 21st century policing mindset is a roadmap and a toolkit for how to conduct yourself and lead your agency in the coming years. It's important so we're linked to the community expectations, partnering with the community, partnering with other key stakeholders, and that's our roadmap for success.
My vision of the 21st century for policing is just to provide excellence. We want to do the best job we can at providing service to the citizens of the state of Minnesota.
My vision of 21st century policing, especially for our smaller towns, which I'm more involved with, there's a lot more community policing. We have to get out and spend more time with the public, make them so they're more comfortable around us.
My vision of 21st century policing is just a more engaged community policing approach. We've been doing that basically for decades in law enforcement, but now we really have to engage with our community. And I mean our entire community, not just small portions of it, but the entire community.
We talk about data and how to collect that data. A lot of us that aren't capable, don't have that data or that record management system to collect that data. And I think there's a way to do that, and I think reaching out to Dr. Goff, and he has some ideas, I think it'll enlighten a lot of the departments on ways to collect that type of data. One of the things that I look at is that pillar number 6, which is officer wellness and safety. And I think taking the information we got from Dr. Goff today and applying it at our department will help us in formulating a plan for that officer wellness and officer safety. So it's been a great tool to use.
My vision for 21st century policing is to bring training and education to my police department and to the police departments around Minnesota. My hope is to provide that training through the Minnesota Chiefs of Police Association. I'd like to make sure that we are envisioning the whole collective community policing aspect as we have in the past. However, making sure we build partnerships with our community, with our church groups, with our businesses is very imperative to policing in the 21st century.
What I've learned this week that I can apply back at my department, well, first of all, a lot of the leadership qualities, the trends that even policing nowadays is going toward, since we've had, futures of kind of a rough go with police departments and other things, I've learned that going forward in the 21st century is going to become a more customer, community-friendly kind of policing is what's going to be the effective thing there. And then employing those ideas so that we increase our ability to be a community-friendly police department and then enhance our ability to police that going forward.
We're thinking about what many of the speakers are challenging us to do. We're talking with even some of the vendors that are here at the ETI show, and many of these people are talking about services and goods and programs that can really help us think differently. For instance, about officer wellness, or about tracking kind of officer engagements and the kinds of contacts that our officers are having with people. And to me, this is really a part of being professional in the realm that we operate in. We have to know what's happening in our communities and know what's happening within our departments.
We're going to see a lot of pressure on local police departments to engage with their community a lot more than we have in the past. And that's really to build trust with the community and non-traditional law enforcement kind of encounters. We're doing a program called Coffee with a Cop, and we're seeing huge positive results from it. We're doing a program called Safe Summer Nights, where we're during the summer months having kind of a picnic in a park and inviting the public out to interact with police officers. And I think it's leading to stronger trust with the community. I think there will be a lot of pressure on police departments moving forward to this crisis intervention training to try to slow down these interactions with people in crisis, maybe a little bit slower to uses of force, and more dialogue where we can. There'll be I think a lot of pressure from the community for those kinds of things.
In coming to this conference, I had hoped to get some tools and skills that would possibly ignite the police passion back in law enforcement. We work really crappy hours and we deal with stinky people and crappy situations, and we don't get called to birthday parties, and we don't get thanked a lot. We miss holidays, we miss our families, and it's a hard job, but it's one that's rewarding, not as often as you would like, but when you do hear from a guy 10 years after you've helped him that you saved his life and he is very thankful and shows great gratitude for that, that's all makes it worth it. I want to ignite that passion in my officers again.